Hey guys, and welcome back to another Blue Blazer Guy fragrance video. Today I'm going to share a fragrance with you that is certainly going to warm your hearts as well as make you a little bit hungry at the same time. This is a fragrance from Oman-based luxury fragrance house Amouage, and it is from their Secret Garden collection. So they kindly sent me this package, and the one that I'm going to talk about is Love Delight. Now, this fragrance was recently released and it is a stunning floral gourmand, which is an unusual combination, but it seems to just work beautifully. So before I go into any further details, let's have a look at that presentation. Now, the colour and the feel of this bottle is very indicative of what you're going to get inside. It is an absolutely stunning fragrance, and it is marketed towards women. In fact, it's inspired by modern femininity, but men can wear this as well because it's got sort of spicier facets in there. And even on my skin, I feel like those spicier facets come to the surface more. But I've smelt this on my friend as well, and she really brings out the sweetness of it. So again, it really depends on the chemistry of your skin, but there's no harm in trying it to see what happens on yours. So Love Delight, as I said, is a floral gourmand, and it was actually inspired by the creative director Renaud Salmon of Amouage when he first moved to Oman, and he was sitting outside a bakery on his phone, and all of a sudden the bakery door opened and he could smell this beautiful sweet pastry in the air, and well, it must have caught his imagination because he then created this fragrance. And it's got those facets in there, but it's not like you're just smelling a pastry. It goes much more deeper than that. And yeah, it's just, when I heard the story behind it, I thought, is it going to be one of those like you're just wearing a piece of food? But no, it does go much deeper than that, and it's much nuanced and it's very well blended. So when you spray it on, you have this beautiful freshness because there's ginger in there, there's juicy mandarin, there's cinnamon, and there's rose water. So if you've ever been to the likes of, you know, any of the Arab countries or Morocco or anything like that, you'll know that they use a lot of rose water in their sort of ingredients in their food, and they'll use a lot of cinnamon. So I love how they've sort of incorporated this into this scent to give that sort of the beginnings of those pastry vibes. So it's really fruity to start off with, it's kind of mouth-watering as well, and it really gives that sort of touch of spice, that sweet spiciness in the beginning with that cinnamon. But it then starts to deepen and you have this wonderful floral heart. Now you've got the gorgeous, like, rich jasmine notes in there along with rose, but you've also got heliotrope, which I didn't find out until we actually went on a webinar and spoke about the fragrance. Gives this sort of almond vibe. And before I even looked at the notes, I was smelling it and I was like, it does have some sort of like sweet nut in there or something like that. So when the perfumer explained about the heliotrope having that sort of fruity, that green, but also that sweet almondy, nutty fragrance, then it was like, now I get why you chose that. So it's then when it gets into the heart where that addictive quality starts to arise, because this is a fragrance that really builds in that addictive quality. It starts with just a little teaser, just like Renaud was smelling that pastry in the air, and then it's almost as if that pastry is getting baked, and then it eventually comes to be right in front of your mouth and you're ready to take a beautiful bite of that flaky, sweet goodness. It's very like, it pulls you in gradually, and after that floral heart is when you get those gourmands. So you've got a smooth vanilla in there, you've got a lovely touch of cocoa, you've also got a Rum Absolute as well, and Cypriol in there. I wouldn't say it's overly boozy or anything like that. As I said, it's really well balanced and it's difficult to pick out any individual notes or, you know, any individual characteristics. It's just beautifully blended, and it's such a pleasure to wear. I understand why they called it Love Delight, because it is a delight to wear this fragrance. Now, that sort of base of the fragrance really sticks to your skin for the longest time, and it's not as strong as their usual fragrances. It's only 20% perfume concentration, but it does last, and that base, as I said, really sticks to the skin like some sort of thick, sweet lotion, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. That vanilla smooths everything out. The cocoa just adds this, again, this sweetness to it, and I didn't know what the Cypriol was in there for, but again, when we took that webinar, they were kind of explaining that without this ingredient, it was just a bit flat, and this was able to bring out more facets, more layers, if you wish, to this fragrance. And just like a pastry, you know, the pastry, you burst it open and you smell those ingredients inside. It's much different from smelling it in the air to when you open that pastry. And that is the journey that you get with this fragrance. Even when you're holding this bottle, it has this beautiful creamy quality to it, and I would say that's the texture that you get from this. It's creamy, it's voluptuous, it's luxurious, it's fun at the same time, but it's also very elegant. And I can imagine wearing this, and even though it's a gourmand, I would still wear this in the spring, summertime, because it has this, how can I describe it, this, you know, that moment when you're on holiday and you finally get to relax and all your problems just, you know, they're just off your shoulders, and the sun is just shining on your face and you're just sitting there in contemplation. That is kind of what this fragrance gives you. It also reminds me of a nice Sunday morning when you're sitting outside having a coffee and the sun's shining and you just feel that joy. That's what this fragrance does. It brings you joy, and that's what we want from a fragrance. So try it out. That is Love Delight from Amouage. I hope you enjoy it.